Hey everyone, Golden Ninja 3000 here again. Today at long last I am reviewing LEGO Star Wars set number 75292, the Razor Crest from the Mandalorian Disney Plus series. This set is for ages 10 and up. It has 1,023 pieces and it retails for $130 in the US. In my opinion, this is one of the greatest LEGO Star Wars sets ever made. I really love the Mandalorian, and this LEGO rendition of his ship is pretty much perfect, honestly. First up, we have the Mandalorian himself. This is the same minifigure from the AT-ST Raider set. That's kind of a shame. It would have been really awesome to get the Beskar armor version in this set, but we did get it in a set that came out in January 2021. He has this typical weapon here as well, and I do really like the printing on him. There's a lot of great detail. The helmet mold has been in use for a little while. His cape looks really good, but it is that stiffer plastic, and you can see mine's actually a little bit deformed from just having him sit in the chair. And if you peel it up, you can get a look at his back printing. He does not have any face underneath his helmet. I don't really know why, because we knew it was Pedro Pascal playing him, so it would have been nice if they had given him a face. Next up, we've got Greef Karga, who is still exclusive to this set. This minifigure also looks pretty good. I love his torso printing, and I really love the whole dark red color scheme he has going on, so I'm not bothered at all by the lack of leg printing. His face print is also new here and looks great. He has a bit of back printing as well as an angrier alternate face. Then we have Taika Waititi's IG-11 droid. This character was great in the show. I'm really sad that he died, and this minifigure rendition of him is pretty nice as well. We have seen IG units with IG-88, but he just uses the same typical droid arms, typical droid legs, and that body, and he does have a little bit of articulation, but it is a little bit weird and kind of limited. The only thing I don't like about these droids is how loose the articulation is, but then it also makes them easier to store because you can just kind of fold them straight up like that. And that is an exclusive cylinder print for him, and he does have this clip on the back to hold another gun, which I do appreciate. This was the first set to give us a minifigure of the child, or as we now know him, Grogu, and I really love this figure. He just follows that typical LEGO baby formula with the same body piece. He does have a bit of printing, but I don't really like how squeezed in it is, because you have to get it between the arms, so it just doesn't really extend to the edges of the torso, so it's not that successful in my opinion. But I really love that brand new head mold for him. And that piece is actually a little bit rubbery. You can see you can kind of bend it. And if you don't know how LEGO babies work, if you take his head off, his neck is just a regular bar attachment. So you could put that in a minifigure's hand, which is kind of gory. And then you can also clip their hands straight into regular LEGO clips. If this will work, so you can kind of make people hold hands with the baby. We've also got a scout trooper here from that scene where the two of them were talking about Baby Yoda and hitting him in his little sack. I do wish that two of these guys had been included, because there are very, very few minifigures for such an expensive set. And while this is an amazing minifigure, I don't pay much attention to scout troopers and stuff, but I love this helmet design. It's dual molded because you can kind of see the black showing through the white in some places. But it's just so detailed and so crisp, and the printing on him is really good too. But there were two of them in the scene, so there should have been two in the set, especially when there are only two other actual minifigures in this set. Underneath, he does not have the angry clone face, but it is that Loki Bruce Wayne face that LEGO's been using for quite a while. So the ship itself is expertly designed. I really love the shape of this thing in the show. But even as a LEGO model, I think it translates really well, and I just love all of the curves and just how the designer achieved these shapes. The other thing I'm very impressed about is the interior, because this thing has this kind of interior that I've been wanting from LEGO Star Wars ships for years, but that we've never actually got. Before we get into the interior, though, I do want to take a look at some of the outside features. The most glaring feature is staring you right in the eye with the flick-fire missiles, spring-loaded missiles. I'm so used to there being flick-fire missiles in sets. But all you have to do is press down on this little piece at the back, this little 1x2 plate with two bars at the end. And once you press down on that, it just shoots the missile right out. Don't want this to go across my room, so I'm not going to let it go that far. But I love it when they have remote activations for these things, because it's always a lot nicer than having to push it with your finger. I do want to talk about the engine housings as well. I think that these are really well built. You do have a massive sticker over here, but it provides a lot of detail, and honestly, I don't hate stickers that much. They are kind of annoying to apply on large curved surfaces like this, but when they look that good, I'm okay with it. You've also got these like bucket pieces used at the back. Lego's done that before on like the big NASA rocket ships, and I really love it when they use those pieces in that gunmetal gray color. And then just the way that all of these little assemblies have been like brought around this older like wheel piece to create this shape is really awesome. And this is honestly probably my favorite part of the set aside from the cockpit, is just how these engine bits look. We've got more sticker detailing down here as well, and this I think is just meant to show a bunch of weathering, and I think it's very successful as well. And you do have some guns up front here. The worst part about this set is that you can see a little bit of yellow poke through over there, but it's better than seeing... Well, actually, no, I don't think it's better than seeing red. Red might fit a little bit better than yellow. But these can't fire, although they do look perfect at the front of the ship like that. And the front of the ship is, again, very well curved. I really like how LEGO achieved the curves on this ship. And you do have a little bit of greebling detail in there as well. At the back, it does become a lot more studded, but I'm okay with that. I think that this set does achieve a pretty good balance of smooth and studded surfaces. And it's kind of hard to see down here, but you do have a studded ramp. And again, we'll get to the interior in a second, but I did want to point that out because even though there is some gapping here between the wedges, I do think it's pretty tight for the most part. And I'm really impressed with how, again, everything just slots together perfectly. All right, so up here is where things get a bit more interesting because this entire section in the middle with that big hole can actually be removed. Whoops, that would be the lid. But this entire section just comes right out, leaving that red jumper. And that's because this is actually a separate escape pod assembly. I love it when Star Wars ships have escape pods. I love it when any ship has an escape pod because I think it just adds a ton to play. And the fact that this one has one, even though we haven't seen it in the show, is a lot of fun to me. There is some grill detailing at the back, and you can also adjust like these little boosters down here a bit. Other than that, though, there's not much detail, but you can pop this open and you can put a minifigure in there. Now, I'm not going to put the Mandalorian in there because I don't want his cape to get crumpled, so I like to put the Scout Trooper in there when I have this thing on display. And I just take off his gun so that it won't get in the way. You can just clip him to those jumpers, put his gun right next to him, and then he fits in there pretty perfectly. His gun was in the way, but now that his blaster is safely tucked away, you can see his face perfectly through that little hole, and I think that that's a really good look. And again, this is just an awesome feature. Even though there's no like deploying function or anything, I just really love it when there are smaller craft hidden inside of larger ships. And the last feature out here to take a look at is the cockpit. The piece back here is a piece that was made for space shuttles, and we've seen it a lot before, but the actual cockpit glass is a brand new mold created just for this set, and it is printed. Now, you don't have the problem that you do with a lot of LEGO cockpits, where this is lighter than the actual plastic, the printing, but it's not that bad because it's a light gray on trans clear. And to open it up, it's really easy. All you have to do is pull on that little piece sticking out, and then just pops right off. Inside, you've got 2 seats, as well as a little control panel for the Mandalorian up there. But there's another play feature here, which I really appreciate, and that's the ability to turn this piece back. And then you've actually got a couple of clips right up there to be able to store weapons. Now, the bad part is that you cannot flip it forward while someone is in the second seat. But honestly, I think that that's a pretty minor compromise to be able to have hidden as weapon storage, because weapon storage is one of my biggest problems with Star Wars sets, so I really love it whenever it's included. So there you go. You can just clip the Mandalorian's blaster into position right there. You can tuck that up, and then here he is sitting in the cockpit. And to get Baby Yoda in his arms, he actually slots in really well. You just kind of have to nestle him in there, and then he's really secure. Even if you flip this ship upside down, he's not likely to fall out. And as for people to go behind him, I just put Grief Karga there. So just turn down his blasters or take them out of his hands, and he'll fit in pretty perfectly. So I'm very happy that there's a decent sized cockpit space, because I feel like a lot of Star Wars ships are very lacking on the inside. But that's not all, because these gun sections are also actually interior parts. So if you flip this down, you've got some more armory storage here. You can clip this extra blaster bolt in, and you can put whatever else you want in there. That's another place to store like Grief Karga's blasters, because there's only one other clip up there. So this ship definitely has storage covered. And on the other side, you can flip this one down to reveal the Mandalorian's bunk. There are a couple stickers back there providing, again, excellent detail, and you can just sit him down on those jumper studs and have him go to bed. But once again, that is not all, because you can also flip down these sections and you have access to a full floor space among all of the Technic pieces. It is a little bit hard to get in here, but on this side, you have the Mandalorian's victims in carbonite, which are a little bit difficult to slide out, but these are just stickered 1x2x5 bricks. And these are a great throwback because the original Han Solo in carbonite was one of these pieces. So I really love that they've kind of brought that back. And it's really awesome to get these, well, not prints, but it's just nice to see these in an actual set. Other than that, there's not too much detail. Like I said, it's mostly just floor space to walk around, but you could fit a ton of figures. And again, like there are little sections up here that can be accessed by flipping down these pieces. And so there's just a ton of space around here. I'm sure you could even build like a custom toilet area up here if you really wanted to. Here are the extra pieces for this set. Here's the instruction manual for this set. It's pretty hefty because this is a large set. And at the back, you do have some ads for the other 2020 Star Wars sets over here. And then you also have the typical minifigure lineup, as well as an ad for the Skywalker Saga game, which still isn't out. It did not come in 2020, as well as a code to unlock it in-game. I don't know if that's unique. I don't think it is, and even if it is, I don't care because I am not going to be playing that video game. So overall, I think that the Razor Crest is the closest we're ever going to get to perfection for a LEGO Star Wars set. It avoids one of my biggest issues with LEGO Star Wars ships, which are the cramped interiors. You know, like I love the Kylo Ren's shuttle set, but like there's just barely any space in it, which really annoys me. This set, I feel like, has the biggest interior of any Star Wars set I've ever seen, except for maybe the Death Star. I'm just blown away by how well designed this is. It looks perfect on the outside. It's perfect on the inside. My only complaints are that it's very, very light on minifigures for such an expensive set. Like, yes, Grogu was exclusive to this set when it came out, but he was only exclusive for a month before the Child set came out. And honestly, only 3 regular minifigures in a $130 set is absolutely ridiculous. Even counting IG-11 and Grogu as actual minifigures, 5 for $130 is still super low. This set definitely should have included Queel, the Ugnaught that was really close with IG-11. And the other thing is, it still feels a little bit too expensive. This is not anywhere near as overpriced as like 90% of LEGO Star Wars sets, but $130 for this still feels high. $120 would seem more like it to me. $100, which would be like closer to the price per part ratio, that feels too low because this is a really hefty, large build with a lot of play value. But I think that for $130, this set really should have included a speeder bike and another scout trooper. I just don't know why 2 scout troopers weren't included. It seems like a no-brainer to me. But again, those are minor complaints, and the actual build of this set is pretty much perfect, which is not something that I can say about a lot of Star Wars sets. So I definitely recommend picking this up, even if you're not a fan of The Mandalorian, even if you're not a fan of Star Wars. Like, I don't really like most Star Wars content. I just like LEGO Star Wars, and I love this set so much. So that's pretty much all the praise I can heap upon it. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and check out my website, goldenninja3000.com. I'll see you guys with more videos soon. Bye for now.